Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, guess, and predictions for every UFC event. But this time, we're bringing in the PFL because we got the PFL Championships and TB Scouting MMA, Guru Scouting MMA, and Couch Warrior will all be there. So now that I've completely royally fucked up the intro, I don't know what the hell happened. Completely lost my juice. So we'll run it back and with your hosts, TV Scouting MMA and
the Guru back again. Like TB for some reason decided to announce we're at the PFL Championships, Hulu Theater, Madison Square Garden. PFL 10, 6 title fights, 6 checks worth $1 million each to be given away. Major prize money. And not to mention, other than these 6 incredible title fights, we've got a plethora of UFC vets and UFC level competition fighting on this really exciting card. So I for one, other than TV's ridiculous royal mess up of the intro, I'm freaking excited, man. And I knew when we were doing this, or when we decided to do this, that there was nobody I wanted to bring on other than Couch Warrior, Mike, somebody that we met at PFL, somebody that we'll see again this week, and somebody that's really, really sharp, works on beating that closing line value, right? Loves getting that good value on those lines, and just somebody that I see constantly working, improving his craft, going card to card, promotion to promotion. Doesn't just do UFC, does it all. So somebody working really, really hard. So Mike, thanks for coming on, bud.
Yeah, man. I mean, I appreciate that intro, man. You hyped me up a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I do my best, right? We all do. You guys hustle like crazy. That's why I love you guys. I respect you guys big time too. Thank you so much for having me on the show, both of you. I appreciate it as always. Yeah, but yeah, what up, everybody? Let's break down this card.
Hell yeah, let's get to it. So we're gonna switch it up a little differently, I guess, today, right, boys? We want to start. We'll start at the bottom.
Let's get a
started at the bottom. Now we're here. We'll slow roll it to the top.
Slow roll it, baby.
So TB, why don't you do what you actually usually do?
Yeah,
and tee up the card for us.
Let's get this thing started off on the right foot, the wrong foot, whatever it is. We got
the left foot.
Biagio Ali Walsh versus Tom Gracer. That's where we're going with. Yeah, it's a 1-1 versus a 0-0. The most notable thing here, Guru, why don't you take us away? Because I mean, realistically, man, we're not even getting a height and reach or a gym for Mr. Gracer here. So I think once you give us a little nugget of detail here about what's going on with the matchup, I think we'll understand about why exactly this is kicking off our PFL card.
Yeah, it was funny. You wanted to hand it off to me and then went on for another 30 seconds. That was pretty cool. So, listen, this one is really interesting. There's really not much to be said. I'm going to let Mike, who dropped something right before we went live, drop the big news on Ali Walsh. But this is a guy, Ali Walsh, who's 1-1 in his MMA career, right? He has a rear naked choke loss in round 2 at the Fusion Fight League in 2020, takes about 2 years off, and comes back and beats an 0-1 Bradley Seaver by round 1 knockout. So again, not much we have on this guy. And then when you look across the cage at Tom Gracer, the greasy boy, he is making his pro debut. Not only his PFL debut, but his pro debut. So we have no tape. There's no amateur tape. We have nothing. So not really much to go on here, except Mike, what was that little fact you had for us?
So I actually have one on top of that. I'll drop after. So first off, you guys see that Ali in that name? His grandfather is Muhammad Ali. How much that means, I can't tell you.
Muhammad Ali, like not just like
the. I had to look it up. It's the Muhammad Ali.
Clay, like Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
Yep, that's his grandfather. Unfortunately, we don't have any evidence of him being as good as him in any kind of form. There's no tape on him whatsoever. However, Tom Gracer, this is the other thing I wanted to say. If you look him up on YouTube, there's a guy that looks just like him, seems his weight. I'm pretty sure it's actually the exact weight. And it's him. There's 3 of them. There's 3 fights. I'm pretty sure he loses most of them. And he looks awful. That much I could tell you. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what Ali Walsh looks like, but I could tell you.
What do you mean? You're telling me like you think he like changed his name, fought
Nah,
under a pseudonym? Like
I'm saying, if you take his name right now, copy paste that into YouTube, you'll get fights, and it'll match the weight class.
Maybe
And it looks like him. It could be amateur, but they weren't wearing the knee
By the
guard.
way, actually, I just realized it's a complete lie, everybody. This is not a pro debut. These are amateur fights. This is an amateur fight. It's not a pro debut. This is an amateur fight.
I forgot that also.
I didn't realize.
So that might explain why we have tape out there, but no pro record.
Right. Or no,
and we have the amateur record.
Tapology will sometimes have amateur records.
They usually do. It seems like someone's hiding something. That's what it seems like.
Oh, jeez.
All right. So basically, sounds like we're trying to set up the descendant of Ali for a little smash spot to start off the PFL card is what it sounds like. I mean, realistically, they're not even aligned because it's an amateur fight. So I think that kind of seals up our breakdown, huh?
I agree completely.
All right, great. So we'll move right along to our next
now,
fight.
This is a fight I'm way too excited for. And if anybody's like done any modicum of research or a little bit of tape, they know why.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Maybe TB doesn't know why. I don't know. He's got a little buffering issue over there. He's chilling.
Yeah, we're good. Internet sucks as always. But we got Dakota Ditcheva versus Catherine Korjanis. And Guru, you know what? Maybe I'm not too sure why. I just know Dakota's a pretty good young prospect. Maybe there's some behind the scenes things going on here. But as far as a fighting prospect, someone that coming out of Manchester top team, also trained out of American top team, it seems here. And, you know, as the minus 350 favorite we're seeing now minus 380 on DraftKings. That's seems like one of those PFL parlay pieces to me. I mean, tell me otherwise, or is this just one of those, OF fades?
No, so she doesn't have an OF. She's a bit more. Okay. She's a bit more. She's more professional than that. But like, I mean, not actually. That's actually kind of mean. I don't really mean it like that. I just think she kind of at this stage with 35,000 followers. I don't know. She's like, she's really young. I think she's building a different kind of brand. That's all I mean by that. I support anybody that wants to do that kind of work. But what I would also say is that this Dakota chick is absolute fire. Like total smoke show. Like crazy. So shout out her. She is a very, very high level kickboxer, right? Tons of leg kicks, good distance management. She's got a good like the announcer says, she's got a good slip and rip. She slips the jab and then rips a straight one down the pipe, and it was nice. She's willing to work the body. She's willing to work in the clinch. Her mother is a former world champion kickboxer as well, so that's kind of where the lineage comes from. Again, what did we learn in her last fight when she got a less than 1 minute round 1 KO? Nothing. She was a minus 1250 favorite. She not only did what she was supposed to do, I mean, she did kind of overachieve in a 1 minute stoppage, but the girl took a body shot and was like, yo, I'm out of here. So I expect anything that I've seen or read, I haven't seen much, but what I read kind of about Catherine Korjanis is that she's more like Muay Thai striking based anyway. So my only reason to not play Dakota is if she was going to face some sort of insanely good wrestler, because I have no idea what her takedown defense looks like. But I don't believe that that's Catherine. So Dakota seems like a pretty decent smash spot. Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to add, right? There's like nothing on Catherine. There's no tape on her. I tried all I could. I've got a fight.tv subscription. I've got the Fight Pass. I've got all of it. Got YouTube. Couldn't find anything. I mean, look, just like the last fight, it's pretty clear who the PFL are trying to set up, right? That the lines indicate that. I'm hoping we get some kind of Ditcheva inside the distance prop. I'd play that. KO, I would play that. I'd rather inside the distance because she has a sub in her amateur career. Not that I could see it, but yeah, I mean, there's not much to say, right? There's not much information.
Yeah, I agree completely. I would play an inside the distance as well. It seems like a decent stab, but we don't have a line, right? So it doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, not on this specific fight. I'm not
I feel like if we do get it, it'll be like minus 125.
Under 2.5 is Under 2.5 is -145 if you have interest.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Especially if you really do think that the fight ends. Like if it ends, it's gonna end fairly quickly, I think, too. Otherwise, I think she just kind of takes her time at distance and just pieces her up.
If I might, classic Guru endorsement. I don't hate it. That's not terrible. Not really getting a real solid feel. So we'll move along. We got Magomed Karimov versus Gleison Tibau, and we got another what looks to be a setup fight here. I mean, Magomed Karimov a -460 and Gleison coming in +370. I mean, we saw him squeak out some real sketchy stuff in recent times, and could it be said as Gleison Tibau, was he the one? Like, should he have beat Khabib when he was in the UFC? Great question. And then you see in his PFL career here, has a close split decision loss in his last fight, but he also has that real sketchy close to split decision win over Rory McDonald in his fight before that. I don't think that's enough to survive 3 rounds against Magomed Karimov. So I'll take Magomed inside the distance. It's warming me up for Magomed Ankalaev in the future here. Under 2.5 is +150. If you think that Tibau can be finished, but he does normally lose by decision. So Guru, what do you think there, man?
Well, I think that Magomed Karimov is a very good fighter, right? He's somebody that has shown good distance management, good striking, will lay on top of you with top pressure and then still use his ground and pound, right? He's somebody that I actually think would actually fare decently well in the UFC. Sometimes his patience is a good thing, and sometimes it's not as good of a thing, if that makes sense, right? Sometimes maybe it's a little bit of a lack of activity. And then I would say that sometimes, I would say maybe questionable striking defense, right? If you watch him get knocked out by Ray Cooper, you're like, whoa, man. And even maybe against Sadibou, getting pieced up a little bit by at range. He wins that fight pretty handedly, though, with his ability to control him. But I like Magomed here. I think that's fairly obvious based on the line. I feel like it was way lighter. Like, I feel like he wasn't -460 even like earlier today or yesterday. Am I crazy on that thought? Do we know that the line moved? I don't know if anybody knows. I'll keep talking until
it's
then.
been here the whole time, I believe. I'm looking at it now. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then in that case, then, I think he smashes. I think it's a perfectly fine spot to play. The only way it's a problem is, again, I do kind of like it to go the distance. Gleison Tibau is very tough to finish, and he is on all the Flintstone vitamins, right? The whole cabinet, every single one. Dude is absolutely yoked to the tits. And, he loses his last fight by split decision. Realistically, it's because he's laying and praying and not doing any damage. Like, do I think he lost?
He won that damn fight.
Right,
he won that fight.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's basically even on the feet, and then you lay and pray. So, you won the fight. You controlled them. You won. But they not only didn't award the top control without damage, they took away for it. So he lost. And point being, you're not laying on top of Magomed Karimov. That's a terrible game plan. That won't happen. It can't. He's too good of a grappler. So Magomed will win this fight, unless he doesn't throw and loses a split decision. What do you think, Mike? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, look, Tibau has been nothing but pain for me. I bet against him in the Rory McDonald fight.
Brutal.
And that got robbed.
Brutal.
Then I bet him against Jara Al-Salawi as the beautiful dog. I was so proud of that bet. We got to decision. I was like, let's fucking go. And it goes the other way. So I hate this guy. But at the end of the day, I do respect him. I did bet Magomed. I parlayed him up with another guy we'll talk about in Jack Della. And just for like a unit and something, I think it's like 1.2 units, something like that. But yeah, I mean, you guys said it already. Magomed should have him covered everywhere. He's definitely the better striker. He's the larger man. He's good at using his range, his distance. The wrestling is kind of where it gets floppy, right? Because you got a guy here who pretty much neutralized Khabib's wrestling completely and out-grappled him, which is unknown. Otherwise, it's never happened. So, Yeah, I think it's Magomed all day. I would just be careful with the unit sizing there because PFL, love the place, love the promotion, but there's so many crazy upsets that happen. And with Gleason, you never know what you're in for. So
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's, again, especially if I don't expect to finish and I see Magomed being somebody that can be low output, if it's a grind fest, these judges, they don't like. Yeah, I'm not super convinced either. Like 100%, Mike.
you mentioned fight goes, right, Guru?
That's what that's what I do think.
So I don't see a line for that, but the over 2.5 minus 185 makes sense to me. I really don't see a finish. I really don't.
Yeah, I can rock with the boys. So yeah, that'll move us right along. We got Natan Schulte versus Jeremy Lil Heathen Stevens over now.
That's fucking sick. Isn't Natan Schulte a former PFL champion? And then you've got Jeremy Lil Heathen Stevens, two-time PFL champion, and Jeremy Stevens, former main eventer for the UFC, 30-plus fight UFC veteran, fourth fight on this fucking card. Like that's impressive stuff from PFL, in my opinion.
Pretty good. Gonna say, Lil Heathen's gonna bring the action, and at plus 330. Might I be a little tempted? It's just like I think he might just not have enough juice to get it done. So we're sticking to chalk here, minus 410. We'll drink plenty of water to get that chalk down.
Not a fight that I'm interested in too much from a betting perspective, other than maybe, like, I guess when I think about it, little tiny baby stabs on Jeremy Stevens. Like, I don't, because Natan Schulte, like, is he the rightful favorite? Yeah, absolutely. Jeremy Stevens, is he on the back nine of his career? Sure. Nobody's debating these things. But when you look at who he's fought, right, his best win is his split decision win over Alex Martinez, right? He loses to Marcin Held and beats Marcin Held by unanimous decision. Like, all right, man, like, that's cool. Loses the split decision to OAM. Like, that dude's a beast. So, he's not a finisher though either. So, beating Jesse Ronson by decision in 2019, a name that we recognize. Beating Chris Wade by split decision in 2018. And again in twice in 2018, actually. So yeah, not somebody at minus 410 that I can get my teeth around, especially, right? We've talked about it on this show. Do I expect him to finish Jeremy Stevens when Schulte is somebody with 9 career decisions? He's got to sub Jeremy Stevens. That would be the only way. So if you really love Natan Schulte, maybe you play him by sub. But if you expect this fight to go the distance, which I almost kind of do, because it's tough to finish Jeremy Stevens and he doesn't have the power he used to, why are you playing a minus 410 money line? It's too much chalk to swallow for me, Mr. TB. But maybe Mike has got a better read than me, because this is not a fight that I did as much tape on as maybe as some of the others.
No, I mean, you're leaning my way, to be honest. I when I first saw this line, I was like, all right, Jeremy Stevens done. Then I taped it and I was like, okay, I get it, but I still think it's wide, right? Obviously, skill for skill, career for career. At this point, it's obviously Natan Schulte. The issue with Natan Schulte is that sometimes he decides not to use his grappling and he doesn't move his damn head. And what can Jeremy Stevens do? He can strike. He can hit hard. He's got a good output and he's good at striking. It's his thing. He's very good at it. He's been doing it forever. He fought in the UFC, lost to only the best. Like his last sub loss, who was it? Matheus Gamrot. I think Gamrot would spank Schulte. Like, realistically, I feel like he would dominate him. So the way I played it is this. I don't think Stevens can win a decision. I would be shocked. He would have to knock down Natan in maybe 2 rounds, right? And then steal the rounds. I don't see that happening. Yeah. So I decided to play it cheap. Stevens by TKO. KO is plus 800. Wow. Played it for a quarter unit. And I feel good there, because if I lose a quarter unit. And if I win, I'm winning just over 2. And I think it's a possibility. Like I mentioned, Schulte doesn't move his head. So,
yeah, plus 800. That seems to be on DraftKings for Jeremy Stevens by KO. Schulte by submission is plus 250. If you do think he gets that grappling going and can maybe put Jeremy in a place that he doesn't want to be. Otherwise, yeah, that's That's it. Little grandma's couch cushion play on one of the lower fights of the night, which is again such an awesome thing to say. This is such a sick card, which is why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So, guys, please make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure if you're not already, please like and subscribe to Couch Warrior Pod, and yeah, share our video. It means a lot. I don't care how many followers you have. Just share that video out there. It means a lot.
Amen, brother. So here we go. We're on to Moraes versus Moraes, the rematch.
That everybody was clamoring for.
7 years later, what the people signed up for. But honestly, I think we get some action here. And
is it only 7 years later? I thought it was more than that.
2015.
Wow.
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, because it was World Series of Fighting. And I feel like it was so long ago. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Oh, so it's technically a PFL rematch too.
Technically a PFL rematch. So it works out nicely. It really does. And I think I get why it's evens. Realistically, Moraes needs to get an early finish here. And the fact that Marlon Moraes. Okay, Marlon.
Just say Marlon and Shaman.
Magic Marlon, using real nicknames here. I know, unlike me.
Yeah, I don't know who you are.
Yeah, exactly. So Magic Marlon right now, he's coming in, and I think realistically, like the thing that's interesting to me is that offensively, he's never looked bad for a second. It's all about what happens once he gets hit. So up at 145 now, I might have a little interest, right? Yeah, it was supposed to be 145.
Yes, against Shane Burgos. This is a fight at 135.
Why? Because Shaman Moraes is a 145er.
Yeah, but he's
I think it's still featherweight. They don't even have a bantamweight division.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you sure?
So fuck you.
All right, well, fuck me then. But anyway,
anyways, let me continue my point. You interrupted.
No, it's listed. It's listed that way on Tapology. That's why I
Tapology is stupid.
People have been. It's fair. People have been getting confused all week. Apparently, on PFL though, it says featherweight. Guru.
And that's all that matters. Thank you. And continue, TB. I apologize.
Well, to my point, why would they make Marlon Moraes cut 10 extra pounds because someone changed opponents on 7 days' notice? Just if we use our heads here. Anyways, Shaman Moraes.
Not my specialty.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, but Shaman versus Magic. I think the fact that Shaman could only beat Boston Salmon by decision and Magic Marlon was at least able to put the hurt on some people before getting finished himself. And then Shaman also has a round 1 knockout loss to Brendan Loughnane and a round 1 knockout loss to Andre Feely. I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it for a guy that I would want to fade Magic Marlon against. And in fact, I think this is a way for the PFL to promote their new signee that, hey, initially we were kind of looking to get a Shane Burgos promotion here. And it's like, well, we can flip the tables here. Let's make Magic look good in his first matchup. So I'll take -110. That's the first value player getting from TB today. So how about you roll with it? Magic Marlon Moraes until he's stone cold out on the canvas in round 2.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I can get there personally. I get it.
You don't have to.
I know, it's okay. And I'll tell you why. He's been knocked out, in 5 of his last 6 fights, right? And that's a problem. Of course, it's against the highest of the high-level competition. I understand that.
We know about high.
We do. Problem is your brain doesn't care about the level of competition. It just turns off. Sorry, it doesn't matter. Past that, Shaman, right, is somebody that has fought in the PFL already, has that kind of experience over him, and is now, thank you for letting me know that the fight's at featherweight since I'm stupid, but who's already fought 3 fights at featherweight in the PFL? Shaman Moraes. So that, I think, works to his advantage. To your point, TV, I don't think the PFL gives a shit about Marlon Moraes. They set him up to fight Shane Burgos. So I think at the end of the day, they just want interesting fights and name recognition. They don't really give a shit about the outcome unless it's their prospects, like maybe Dakota and Magomed and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so losing to Lance Palmer is not that big a deal. Lance Palmer's a fairly decent wrestler, good fighter, I believe a former UFC vet as well. It's pick 'em for a reason, and the under 1.5 is pick 'em as well. So they're like, who the fuck knows? And I kind of agree. I don't know. Part of me feels like I like the under 1.5 because maybe they just go berserko on each other. But maybe Marlin's tentative for a change, and maybe they try to coast a little bit. So I will maybe have one of those spur of the moment feelings where I'll be there live and I'll just be like, coin flip, hooray, let's play some money. But I don't necessarily have a feeling at this moment. Yeah, what do you think, Mike?
Yeah, so I liked one thing you said when because there's one way to look at it, right? Like TB said, Marlon is going up to featherweight, and maybe it'll help, right? He's had a trash chin, maybe going up in a weight class where he doesn't have to cut weight. He's a big guy, will help. Another way of looking at it is like you said, Guru, Shaman has been a featherweight, whereas Marlon is just coming up for the first time. Could be different. Now, I watched their first fight, and normally I would just disregard a 2015 fight altogether. It's literally 7 years ago. But the thing is, I don't feel like either of them has changed. Like maybe they're better at what they did, but they fight exactly the same. Both of them are still throwing big hooks. Both of them still got that power. Marlon is still the better wrestler, in my opinion. And that's really all it comes down to. Like Shaman got caught in that last fight. He kept trying to trade in the pocket with Marlon. They were throwing big hooks, and Marlon caught him and then subbed him, I believe. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a similar outcome. I wouldn't be surprised if Shaman got a finish. I personally don't want to touch this. I would have if Shaman was like a bigger dog. I see the line kind of flipping now. Marlon's minus 112. If I can get Shaman like plus 120, I'll drop something on that. I mean, I think he's just more durable at this point. I think he's good enough to get a victory. I think he has all the skills. I just think that Marlon was better. Technically, he's still better, but age is a real thing, right? The chin is a real thing. So,
fun fight. Should be exciting. So let's get to it. I hopefully there's a finish, so there's like some electricity. Although at the same time, I almost don't wish for finishes with PFL because sometimes their pacing can be a little off. But if TB's inclination earlier about their press conference and everything being a little bit more like speedy and up to snuff, I expect that maybe their pacing might be a little bit better too, right? Dude, speaking of which, right before Rob Wilkinson's last fight, right, we had to wait before the fight started because we were there, right? Because they didn't have an ambulance on site.
I was about to bring it up. Yeah,
which is nuts. Like that's crazy. Or you could be like the Bellator champion, right, who had to go to the emergency room and wait 6 hours. The Patricky Pitbull to get his thing set up. Anyway.
All right. Okay. All right, Guru. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna cast my line out. Reel you back.
Break out
there we go.
Fight.
All right, here we go. So we're on to the first of our 6 championship fights. So boys, break out the glass. You know what time it is. I'll get us started before I hit mine, but go ahead. And listen, we got Omari Akhmedov, the Wolverine, versus Rob the Razor Wilkinson. And I'm pretty excited for this one. Watch both of these guys. Fuck you. I have to actually go face these people in person on Friday.
Okay.
So, anyways,
keyboard warrior over here.
Yeah, for sure. Nah, but in all seriousness,
warrior.
Yeah, nah. These guys are fighting for the championships. I always keep the nicknames on the up and up for the main card and everything. But I started off on the wrong foot today. I didn't want to get too crazy on you. You would have been scolding me for real. You know what I mean? Anyways, we got
me for talking too much.
Omari Akhmedov versus Rob Wilkinson. Like we said, the first of our championship fights. These guys, you got one in Akhmedov that, as his career's gone on, we've seen a bit more of a decisionator here. Whereas earlier in his career, he was someone that could get a lot of finishes. When you face Tom Breese, it's a little bit easier to find yourself a finish win. But yeah, then here on the PFL scene, he's had his success, but he's coming in as the dog. We got Omari Akhmedov at plus 175 and Wilkinson at minus 205. I gotta say I'm partial to the Wilkinson side here, just on the basis of I think a better striking attack, good takedown defense. The things that worry me are that his 2 losses have come by knockout. But I just don't think Omari presents enough of a threat over enough period of time to get the knockout. So I think Wilkinson is going to be able to stuff takedowns. gas out Omari over time here. And if this bad boy is going 5, right? We're going 5 rounds here. Can I confirm? Anyway, everyone wants to agree, right? Good. So we got a 5-round fight here. And for me, I mean, listen, this one, I don't think it goes the distance. So under 1.5 a plus 125, I think that's too quick. I think over 1.5 minus 155, I would rather look at. But I don't think it goes the distance. So when you look at the fight prop to go the distance, no is minus 360. So obviously, yeah, if you're looking at chalk, there you go. But I think also chalky is Rob Wilkinson and maybe the Rob Wilkinson and over 1.5, a classic fight parlay here is plus 140. So that's what I would lean to with the Wilkinson side to get some value is the Wilkinson over 1.5. Omari gasses out. We find some victory along the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's some good handicapping.
Yeah, not too bad, Guru, huh?
I don't hate it. But however, right?
No. Hold on. That's some good handicapping, and then you followed up with I don't hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I like where you're headed.
That's brutal.
Dude, it's just like if your handicap is that like you're not sure about the cardio of Omari after 1.5, like you have to say that you can't be sure about Wilkinson's cardio after 1.5 because his fights rarely go that long. You know what I mean? I don't know that he can go 5. He's got 1 round 3 knockout in 2016.
Okay.
Otherwise, he hasn't been there. So we don't know.
But quick counterpoint, real quick. I've seen Omari Akhmedov at death's door with his cardio, and I've seen it many a time. And even though he's like faced a lower level of guy to get to the PFL final here, and he's like scrapped on as the fight's gone to decisions, like it's not necessarily been the prettiest as far as like a maintaining a gas tank type of thing. So it's like Wilkinson, he doesn't have the same type of muscle mass, and he seems like he would have a bit of an easier cut in my mind. Looking at them at the press conference today, one guy looked a lot more miserable than the other. I'll tell you that. Omari looked fucking miserable. Amy Kaplan even posted a thing like, yeah, but so to my point, there's a reason I think he would gas out compared to Wilkinson. Not in a 3-round fight. I'm not even talking about a 5-round fight. Both of them are going to gas out before 5.
Bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought when you had teed it up, I actually like the under 1.5 at plus 125. I'd take a stab on that. Omari won his last fight as an underdog. Mind you, I made a little money on that. He wins a decision. He doesn't look that terrible in the decision, right? He grinds out a guy that's 9-0, but Green not fantastic, But he again, people go in and they line him as a decent sized underdog. That has to mean something. So he comes in and he's an even bigger underdog right now. That's that it is interesting because while I lean Rob Wilkinson, again, who is he beaten? Dylan Monte, like we kind of knew that guy was gonna get smashed. Victor Pesta, like come on, man, we there's nobody on here. His losses in the UFC, right? Israel Adesanya losing to that bum. I mean, come on, man. No, that's a joke. Listen, losing to the middleweight GOAT, that's incredible. I can't even believe that he gets 2 fights in the UFC. He loses to I don't even know who that guy is. CR Badzahuda, I don't know, whatever. Loses to that gentleman, and then loses to Israel, both by knockout. Possible problem. And what I saw in the Del Monte fight, for as long as it went, I don't know if you guys saw that. Rob gets clipped to start that fight a couple times, turns him out on the outside, and then just smashes him. So you have a guy that's hittable, and Omari, yeah, he can strike a little bit. He'll throw hands hard. I just don't know that he'll get the finish per se. But I think he could, just because I think the shot will be there. So under 1.5, and you know what? If it went to decision, if it goes deep, I actually might lean Omari because he has the wrestling to just lay on top of him. I don't know. I just like the dog money. I like Wilkinson so much as a person, though. I think he's the fucking man. It's way too long. Mike, what do you got?
Honestly, today me and Guru are on the same wavelength. Great minds think alike. Fools never differ. Which one are we? I don't know. But I'll say this. I like Guru said, like should we really be this hype on Rob Wilkinson? Like, I pulled up his odds because I remember this. I was very proud of this. I played Rob as an underdog against Bruce Soto. Bruce Soto was on the PFL Challenger Series, picked up a dub there. And then the line opened up. I have it in front of me. It was plus 120 Wilkinson, minus 150 Soto was the opener. It did flip. But I did play Rob as the underdog there because I thought that was absurd. I don't think much of Bruce Soto. But just the fact that he was the underdog there, and now he gets 2 knockout wins over Victor Pesta, who Omari also sent to the Shadow Realm, and Delon Monte, who, like Guru said, actually hurt him like twice and then got himself knocked out. So it's like, should we really be hyped about him? And Mushroom, fantastic point. Terrible gas tank. Lost to Jordan Young, rest in peace, by losing his gas tank, But the thing is, Guru also said this. Rob doesn't have much of a gas tank either. We don't have any evidence he can go 3 rounds. I mean, 5 rounds or 3, really. I will say this. I'm kind of tempted on Rob like round 4 or 5. That could be interesting. That's something I would look at. But more so, I'm interested in Omari. I did play him inside the distance at plus 350. Played it for a half unit because can he win a decision like Guru said by laying and praying? I think he could. But the way he got up from Victor Pesta when Pesta shot on him, Pesta's not the best wrestler, but the way he got up was pretty impressive. He's a big, long guy. They're hard to hold down when they're like that. So I feel like if Omari wins, it's probably inside the distance. It's a 5-round fight. So plus 350 for a half unit. I like that spot.
All right. We will keep our momentum rolling here. We move on to our next championship fight. This one in the welterweight division, unless Guru wants to tell me otherwise. We got Dilano, the Postman Taylor, versus Sadibou, the Swedish Denzel Washington. This one gonna be a banger. I don't know if either guy necessarily expected to be here going into their semifinal matchup, but here we are, man. And I think just kind of based off of what I've seen at the press conferences, it seems like Delano's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. I've seen consistently here in the interviews and the press conference here. And then I'd say that Sadibou has kind of like, that extreme couture, Eric Nixick, laid back mindset here. I would say he's definitely a veteran of the game, and he definitely seems to be comfortable in where he's at. And you can see it. I mean, he's 10 years older. They're the same height. Sadibou is going to have a 3-inch reach advantage. But overall, I'm leaning towards the Postman. I think he's hungry. He told me he wants some cronuts. I think he's hungry for $1 million too. He sounds hungry. And I just think he's a little bit more dangerous with his striking. Whereas I think at Sadibou is a little bit more measured and technical. I think that Taylor's going to be willing to eat one coming in to deliver a punishing strike. Now, I know he's had a few decisions here, there, everywhere, but Sadibou's getting lit up by a guy that had an 8-inch reach disadvantage his last fight, getting kind of like clinched up and held against the fence by a guy that really can't match his physicality. If Delano Taylor has any sort of offensive wrestling game, it could be very bad looking for a guy in Sadibou. That honestly, without a groin kick, we could be seeing his much lesser opponent here in the final. And yeah, I mean, Mushroom, I see on C, but Postman's delivering me a winning bet at dog odds come Friday night, and I'm delivering him some cronuts for his troubles. The dog said that's what he wanted when he came to visit New York. I asked him today. He said he hasn't had any yet. At plus 150, when I place my bet and cash it out, I'm going to have plenty of money to drop my boy a few cronuts. So
that's wild.
We got this covered.
Get this man a slice of New York pizza, bro. The fuck he wants cronuts for? We're not
he
known for that.
He asked for it. You got to give the man what he asked for.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't know what you're looking for. You got to be careful what you wish for, right? This is one of the more interesting fights, I think, on the card for me. I'm not one of those fights that may not play out as interesting in the cage, but one I'm just really interested to see in sort of technical skill sets. Sadibou, somebody that really uses his God-given talents very well. A distance fighter, wants to keep it at distance, good at using his range, good takedown defense, right? Maybe not the best at peeling himself off out of clinch situations or peeling himself off the cage, but good at keeping himself off the mat. Again, because he's so long and he's really yet to fight somebody that has similar height and reach to him, like somebody like Dilano Taylor has. The Postman, what a good nickname. And also the Swedish Denzel Washington, that's unbelievable. So really a battle of the incredible nicknames. One of those fights I'm really interested to see. Delano is a little green for me, right? He beats Rory McDonald, right, with that knockout, but that's literally, he clips him. Like, it's crazy. It's unbelievable. So I don't know how much you can go with that right after, right? He had just gotten knocked out by Magomed Karamov, and that was a fight that he had fared very well in, right? But gets TKO'd after standing TKO, right? Other than that, he hasn't really fought anybody. So he's got a huge chip on his shoulder, right? Won the PFL Challenger Series fight, but didn't get the contract. So he comes in as an alternate, wins, and then he gets the contract, right? And now he's somehow fighting for $1 million. So I think you're right, TB. I think he's very hungry. And at a dog spot, I kind of like it. But if this fight extends past 2.5 rounds, it's a problem for Delano. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the first fight we're all lining up on. I think skill for skill, C should be the way better guy. I think that if the guy would just throw a 2 after his 1, some kind of combinations other than your legs, he'd be killing it. But he's only really throwing a jab. His jab is deadly. I really like it, obviously. But, I don't know if it's enough to win long fights, a 5-round fight. You're just going to be jabbing and kicking away. Delano's probably going to try to mix in takedowns. My issue with that is that Sadibou has shown really good takedown defense. Literally every single opponent he's had has tried to take him down. But I don't know. I got to admit, this is probably the fight that I'm most uncomfortable with. I don't have a strong lean either way. I would lean the dog just because I think he's got more ways to win with the grappling. We've never seen Sadibou even shoot a takedown. So I lean Delano. I think his striking is good enough. He's green, but he's learning quickly. He's young. He's at Sanford MMA, I'm pretty sure, right? I think I have it in my... Yeah, he's at Sanford, so he's at a good camp. He's going to be improving even more. I'm with you guys. I like Delano Taylor.
Let's go.
Postman.
A dog shot.
Right.
I like that.
This one,
and really, and again, and by the way, just in case we didn't say it, Sadibou doesn't necessarily belong to be there, right? He wins the fight because the guy kicks him in the groin one time in the 3rd round, and no warning, he takes a point away. You talk about a fight fix. You talk about a fight fix, bro. That was one of the most sketchy things I've ever seen. You give warnings all the time. We watched the fight in the UFC. The dude got kicked in the ball twice and poked in the eye, and then he's still relax, guy. Yeah, the Charles Johnson fight. Literally, they kicked each other in the balls 7 times, and he's still waiting. Come on, man. Be careful now. So you can't do that. And now Sadibou is fighting for $1 million. Can you tee up this fight? Sorry, TB.
Well, I know that Guru said, I don't know if it's been said. Well, I know TB said it, but I haven't said it, god damn it. So,
fuck.
Yeah, it's all good. Whatever. So anyways, we got Stevie Ray, the Braveheart, versus Olivier, the Canadian gangsta, Aubin Mercier. Pretty good nicknames in this fight as well. I got to give it to them. They don't need my assistance in the PFL so far. Olivier is going to get this done. The dude is ready to make $1 million, retire, go on vacation, have his beautiful French-Canadian happy ending to his times here. The dude is a monster. He's been improving. We say he's a decision machine. He's like, all right, I am, but I'm still going to get a knockdown in my fight just to make things interesting. Now it's a 5-rounder, right? Last time it was 3. Now it's a 5-rounder. Stevie Ray, we're talking about a guy that was even monies with Anthony Pettis' last time. Stevie Ray is a dog. He's a good fighter. Olivier is just the next level up, is my thought. And I think the -360 is fair. It's just Stevie Ray has shown that he is a solid enough grappler to where I don't think Olivier necessarily submits him. I think he would have to create damage on the feet. But, hey, man, I counted out Stevie Ray against Anthony Pettis in all fairness, and he proved me wrong. So watch him do it again here as a +295 dog and we gotta say hey in the post-fight press conference and be like, my bad for doubting you again, my dude. And at least you get your $1 million to feel better about it. So, but no, I think it's Olivier. And he's a jokester, man. He's a really fun guy. Yeah. So Olivier, but could the knockout a plus 600 mushroom? Are you onto something here?
I think he only could be just because of the caveat of 5 rounds. That's the only reason. But realistically, I mean, he's just a smotherer. He's the Canadian gangster. He's the Canadian blanket, man. He's a savage. Like he's gonna fuck your day up and make it annoying for you. 5 fights in a row since coming to PFL. He's really made PFL his bitch. If you look at his losses, right? His last 3 losses were all in the UFC. Alex Hernandez, Gilbert Burns, Arman Sarukian, right? Gilbert Burns and Arman Sarukian, 2 of the best in the world. Not a big deal. Alex Hernandez, that's kind of unfortunate. But, and then again, lost to Carlos Diego Ferreira. Like, come on. Guys fighting some of the best guys in the world. I like him to win here. Stevie Ray is somebody that just lost to Alex Martinez. I hate to do MMA math, but when you beat Alex Martinez in August and the other guy loses to Alex Martinez in the same year in April, like they're so close. Like, come on, they literally all just fought. So yeah, I like Olivier to come away with $1 million. He's made PFL his bitch. It's time to win the $1 million.
Oh, sheesh.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm with you guys once again. I played OAM inside the distance. I played him plus 185, I want to say. Plus 180 for a half unit. That's what I did. Just because it's 5 rounds. I wouldn't have done it in a 3-round fight. Ray is tough, but realistically, he's been knocked out twice, been submitted 4 times. You look at Mercier. The only reason I'm not with Mushroom on the KO there is just because he's only got 1 knockout win in his entire pro career. He's got 8 submission wins. He's good on the ground. Could he hurt Ray and just knock him out? Yeah. Could he get a TKO? Yeah, for sure. But that's why I played inside the distance. He's got a really good takedown defense himself. In the UFC, it was 70%. The guy fought guys like Arman Sarukian, Gilbert Burns, Anthony Rocco Martin. 70% takedown defense. That's legit. For me, if I'm going to play a dog, if I'm going to play a big dog, I need a route. I need a way they're going to win. And I just personally don't see it for Stevie Ray. I don't even see like a Hail Mary working out. So I'm on OAM inside the distance, plus 180 for a half unit. And he's the other leg of my parlay with Magomed Karimov and Jack Della. It was minus 116. I played it for 1.13 units.
Oh, you mean Jack Della from the other week?
Okay.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, I love that. Yes,
That's
I did see you with that play. That was a monster move right there. My dog Mike on the Couch Warrior podcast.
I was low-key worried, man. I was low-key worried about Jack, but he's an animal.
Dog. I mean, he's a monster. And our guest honestly had Danny Roberts, not going to name names, which is all fair. I think, value-wise, whatever, it did show that he could survive the initial barrage. But, I mean, Jack Della's the real fucking deal. So, here we go. I mean, so now that we've talked that one through, we're moving on. This one is this one championship?
Literally, all right. So here it how it is. So you have 3 championship fights, and then they give you the smoke break. Literally, so you get the smoke break of Juliana Budd and Aspen Ladd, and then you finish the card with 3 more championship fights. That's exactly how.
Can I explain to you how incredible PFL sets it up for us in the back real quick? Like, we legit go back there and. Like, okay, so you have your post-fight press conference area where you do the media scrum, and you turn to your right, and there's a fucking buffet that they're refilling all night for you with appetizers, finger foods, like nice little sandwiches or meals, and then like desserts all night long, free drinks. You can go down to your media seat and watch the fights in person. You can, yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, we're doing media here. You don't want to be too schwanky. Exactly. Yeah. Of course. So, but you can go down to your media seats, watch the fights live, whatever. You go back to the post fight, you get your in person. The next thing you know, you got your boys on the buffet line, bulking up after they just had their crazy fight, and you're like, hey man, enjoy. So it's an awesome thing. I got to tell you, they do a great job setting it up for us, and they really make it welcoming for everybody. And dude, Mushroom would actually put Hulu Theater at MSG out of business with the amount of plates that this dog would make in there. Yeah, Mushroom.
He wouldn't even eat their shit, honestly. It wouldn't be
Nah.
good enough for him.
No,
There's no hot
Mercier-
fries. There's no hot fries.
no hot fries. That's right.
And I have no idea what
rear
their
naked
take
choke around
on
too.
soft bacon is.
Oh God, yeah, it's definitely soft bacon gang.
It has to be.
All right, so can we agree on something? Like, did they sign? Who did they sign first, Julia Budd or Aspen Ladd?
It was
Julia
Bud
Budd.
last year, yeah.
Julia Budd has already fought twice in PFL.
Okay, so I'm just
She actually fought in 2021, beat Caitlin Young, who what's her face, Kayla Harrison just smashed, and she lost to Jenna Fabian, who just beat what's her face in a really weird fight. Jenna Fabian beat Julia Budd. Yeah. Really weird fight.
Yeah. And to answer Prince of Mischief's question, yes, sir. We were there at the press conference today doing the live stream and getting some photos. I'll be posting some more as I go through them tomorrow. My time off. Just been running around today. And then we got the official ones from PFL, so it was easier to post those quicker before I go through my 300 pictures I popped. And then, so we'll be there the day of as well for the fights. So, okay, Julia Budd here versus Aspen Ladd. I really think the value's got to be on Julia Budd, right? I mean, maybe I'm a hater, but I think it could be justified. But, I mushroom on the Ladd decision here. I get it. Minus 225. You're trying to find some value. Go ahead. Watch Aspen Ladd miss weight just because. You never know, but it is at 145, but she might do her best to do it anyways. Big bones. And then Julia Budd plus 190. I just feel like, someone that has at least some clinch game and ability to weather the storm. And, she survived a decent amount of rounds against Cyborg. And it's like, well, I think against Aspen Ladd, maybe she's got a little recent experience. Aspen Ladd has had how many canceled fights? And just watching the performance against Raquel Pennington, it's like, does she ever, start me up, get out of gear? Like, does that ever happen? I don't. I'll take a plus money play on Julia Budd, WMMA, PFL main card, smoke break fight. Take a chance, take a shot, live the dream. Julia Budd plus 190.
I don't know. I don't really like either fighter. Aspen Ladd finally gets that extra 10 pounds she's been dying for. Doesn't have to necessarily deal with USADA, whatever that's worth. We thought for a while that there was some aspects of somewhat of a decent fighter there, right? And then she's getting screamed at and everybody's shitting on her, but yet the odds makers still have her minus 215 favorite. Juliana Budd was somebody on top of Bellator for a while, lost to Chris Cyborg. I don't know where she really is anymore at 39 years old. She's in phenomenal shape. I mean, but I just don't know what she does in the octagon or the ring anymore. Whatever in there in the cage. That's what they call it, a cage. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, so TB actually got me curious because he said 145, and I thought that was incorrect. And I went to go check before I said something, and that is correct. But they don't have a 145 weight class. That's why I didn't think it made sense. And I checked. Julia Budd's only fought at 155 at PFL. So it's going to be kind of interesting seeing Aspen Ladd come up to 155. I'd be shocked if she misses that weight. That would just have to be on purpose, honestly. But look, I looked at it. There's not a chance I'm putting my money on it. If you made me, it would be on Budd as the dog. Just because I'm not convinced Ladd can take her down nonstop. And her striking, like, I thought it was good, and then I went back to the tape, and it's so bad. You know what
I like? Why is the fight to go the distance minus 200 when it should be like minus 700?
I love your cat, bro. I love your cat.
This is Terrence, everybody.
Mila's somewhere here, but she's really mean. She's not a nice cat.
I have two cats. Anybody that's actually a long-time watcher of the show, we got Terrence and Philip. This is Terrence.
I've seen your flicks.
Yeah, I always post them. They're good boys. But minus 200 for this fight to go the distance that we know is a smoke break. I don't know where's the finishing equity in either fighter. Aspen by ground and pound
while screaming.
Aspen by KO is plus 300. Like, that's terrible. There's not even any value in that. So I like the fight to go the distance minus 200 as some sort of parlay piece. So because I really like that to go the distance. Otherwise, I have nothing on this and want to move on personally.
All right, great. So sounds like we got everything we needed to on that one. And our next fight, we have a rematch, one of a few on this card. Ante Delija versus Matheus Scheffel. Seeing the face-off, pretty fucking intense. Delija is going to be a solid favorite here, having knocked out Scheffel in their last fight, minus 230 to plus 190. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take Ante Delija again in the rematch here. Scheffel does a solid job stuffing takedowns, but the size disadvantage is just immense. And Delija he's got that Crow Cop striking background also to lean on. And the question is, does he get chin checked here? All that, but yeah. Oh boy. So before I pass it off, Guru's stroking it live.
Yeah, sorry guys, I had
yeah,
to.
we're dying mushroom and yeah, Delija inside the distance. That's the play. Go ahead.
Listen,
so
you know what? I'm stroking. I'm pushing P to this play right now because Ante Delija should absolutely smash this guy. I lined it at minus 300. I believe it was minus 265 earlier in the week. I wish I would have smashed it. He's now minus 295, basically where I lined it. He's gonna win this fight. I don't really think Scheffel has much for him. Simply put, if you struggle with Juan Adams and you have to wait till the end of round 3 for Juan Adams to be a complete zombie and unable to do absolutely anything, you're not going to be able to hang with Ante on the ground, and his striking is damn good. You know, he's quick. So I think the one little interesting part, right? The one little MMA math interesting thing is Scheffel beats Bruno Capoloza, who Ante has lost to twice. So it's like maybe that's just his kryptonite. Like maybe Mike sees something very specific as to why that is. Like I don't know, but I actually really like Ante as part of like your big parlay. So maybe instead of Jack Della Maddalena, you put in Ante. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Look, it's a rematch, but it's not like they fought in 2015 like the two Mariases, right? They literally fought this year. It was this season. And
right, that's what's so funny about PFL. You look at shit and you're like, they fight at least 3 times a year. It's fucking nuts. So, and then the league is kind of small, so you're either fighting people like we'll talk about later. Like it's a ton of rematches. Continue, bud.
And yeah, it's a ton of rematches and it's a lot of fun, but I just don't see what Scheffel could have fixed in that time frame, to really win this fight. Like you watch that fight back, he wasn't winning any moment. He wasn't. The striking went to Ante Delija. The grappling clearly went to Ante Delija. And if you watch their tape in other fights, that's how it seems too. I just don't see it. Ante literally knocked him down in both rounds. He knocked him down in round 1, then he knocked him down again in round 2 and finished the job. Even if he doesn't get an early finish, I think he can grapple him, make him tired, get on top, and just finish him. The one thing with Delija, why I'm not going crazy playing him, is just he's completely unreliable. Like he's so unreliable. He's consistently inconsistent. That's the words I was looking for. So that's my issue with him.
Fair enough.
Why I kept it small. But what I did was I parlayed him with a guy we're going to talk about, I think, next. And I'll bring that up once we're done. And then I played him by KO at plus 110 for 0.75 units. That's the way I tackled this one.
All right. All righty. So that'll bring us on to the next fight that's been foreshadowed here. Goodbye to Terrence as he walks away from the guru, the little guy. He only lets me say hi if I'm feeding him. So we got, is that the guru or Terrence that we're talking about, though? That only lets me say hi when I'm feeding them. That is a good question. So we got Brendan Loughnane.
Like father, like son.
Yeah, versus Bubba Badman Jenkins. And let me tell you, Bubba was running the mouth here at the press conference. He goes, "Why am I in the blue corner? I haven't lost a single round this season." And he's like, "I'm coming off knockout wins, blah, blah, blah. This guy's only got this." I can't really argue with the man. Honestly, he came in swagged out. He was wearing some crazy shades. He was smiling.
Is the favorite always in red?
Mood.
Did I not understand that?
No, it's like the A side versus B side, essentially, is how
in the UFC goes by rankings.
Really?
Apparently.
Yeah.
Never noticed or cared. That's like a wow. That's like a subtle dig. That's fucking crazy. That's like isn't that like the definition of racist? It's like you're basing it based on color, not the color of your skin, I guess, the color of your glove wrappings.
Anyway, so Bubba was going on and on at the press conference about how he should have been in the red corner and how, he deserves some respect and how he should be the favorite in this fight. He can't believe he's an underdog. He's like yelling backstage after the face-off. And Brendan's just kind of like smiling at him and like, all right, like go off, but I got to tell you, I like Bubba's vibe. I like that he's going to be able to get some back takes here potentially, because although Brendan has gotten better with his stuffing of the takedowns, I do think the next step is dealing with the chaining. And not that Bubba can do it for super extended periods or you would want him being like Khabib style chaining. It's just like if you're stuffing a single and then Bubba's like, all right, well, I scoop around to the side and go for the back. Like he is proficient as a wrestler and a grappler. So this isn't just like, I understand that Jenkins lost to Chris Wade and that Loughnane beat him, but I think the styles really tell the story of their matchups. And I think that Jenkins is going to have a bit more of a physicality advantage over Loughnane, who's going to have lesser wrestling and grappling than Wade did. So I don't think he's going to be able to quite have the same type of success that, as we're talking about, oh, well, he just dealt with the wrestling. And at the press conference, we're talking about like, well, that's not his weakness anymore. It's like, well, I mean, can we really say that? So I'm going Bubba as the dog here. I agree with the man himself. He looks good. I know he's cutting a lot of weight, but he's got a 1-inch reach advantage, even though he's an inch shorter. I thought he looked real good, and I'm gonna take the dog here.
That's really interesting, especially since you've had that little bit more finger on the pulse. I wasn't able to attend today like you were. I'm gonna wait necessarily to like super commit to a side here, but when you've seen the fact that Brandon Loughnane has never been finished in his pro career, across 29 fights, that sticks out to me. Because I feel like Bubba Jenkins' best chance to win is probably by submission, like you said, taking his back. The reason he was able to beat Chris Wade, if you watch that fight, and he's an underdog to Chris Wade in that fight. So I could see where, again, maybe there's some some recency bias here with now Loughnane being a favorite and a sizable favorite. But what you watch in that fight is very, very good takedown defense. And when he's switching stances, he not only frustrates, but he confuses Chris Wade, and he's got no fucking clue what's coming from where anymore. And with Bubba, you've seen him lose to Chris Wade, right, basically by wrestling, gets knocked out by Georgie Karkarian in Bellator. That guy's like a Bellator legend. He's fought everybody in Bellator. Yeah, man. I just Bubba needs a finish. Bubba needs to do what's never been done before, and he needs to finish Brendan. I'm not sure about Bubba's cardio either, because you talk about somebody like you said, TB, with all his attitude, and respectfully, what do those guys do when they're about to fight for $1 million? That's an adrenaline dump. And, Brendan Loughnane is somebody that's a PFL veteran, been around the block in terms of that, famously beat Billy Algeo in the Contender Series and didn't get a contract, and everybody was in uproar. TB wasn't as big a fan, I don't think, at that point in 2019, but I remember everybody freaking the fuck out. Yeah, I mean, TB was. You were getting warmed up. You wouldn't watch a Contender Series just yet. You were there. But I just don't know. I the line is justified to me, especially when I'm not sure he can get a finish. But who the fuck knows? It's a very exciting fight. One of the better ones. I lean Brendan, but I reserve the right to change my pick. So what do you got, Mike?
Yeah, man. So I'm on Brendan here, and the thing is, I try not to come into fights with an opinion when I start taping them, but I totally had an opinion here, and I thought that it's Bubba all day or pass. And then I did the tape. I looked at it. And realistically, like, Bubba has to get the wrestling off. Even with his improved striking, it's just not there. It's not. Like, say what you want, it's just not there, in my opinion. And if we're stuck on the feet for 5 rounds, this is a championship bout, I'm just not seeing it for Bubba. I think he is going to mix in the wrestling. I think he has that route. But like Brendan, since he lost to Movlid, he's been at Tiger Muay Thai, right? He's been training with these guys. He's been training at a camp with really good takedown defense. So I just think, honestly, like, if he didn't have those 2 fights, Ryoji Kudo and Ago Husic, where it was like close fights with guys who he was heavily favored over with, I feel like this line would be completely different. Like, he was an underdog to Chris Wade. I'm looking at the line now. It opened plus 120. He closed plus 210. Why? Because of those 2 fights. So, yeah, I mean, I'm on Brendan. He's the second leg of my parlay with Ante. That came out to plus 124. And I played it for just 1 unit. And I didn't want to risk more. I respect Bubba. I respect his wrestling. It's legit. So just 1 unit stake there for me.
I kind of love it. I love it because it gets those 2 kind of similar confidence levels together, and it gets you a little plus money. And we keeping it small because it's PFL. It's not our usual UFC type inklings. We're just enjoying, right, Phil?
That'll bring us right along here as the other cat joins the party, Phil. But here we go, our main event and the last fight to break down here as we went reverse order, or the actual order today. Kayla Harrison versus Larissa Pacheco 3, the third time.
The trilogy that everyone's been clamoring for.
So what I will say here, as we go ahead and just take a quick little looky. I mean, Larissa Pacheco, her 4 losses. I mean, you want to talk about some toughies.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Kayla Harrison, but
twice.
Both of them by decision.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, Macy Chasson on The Ultimate Fighter by punches. Okay, understandable. Germaine de Randamie, round 2 knockout. Jessica Andrade, round 1 submission. I mean,
it's her only 2 UFC fights.
Ready? I've got 2 things off the bat for you. 2 things. You're telling me the person that lost by decision twice might not have picked something up in that time in the octagon with Kayla, like one way or another, potentially, maybe. We're talking about a fighter that at this point is now 28 years old. And if there was ever a chance that, she could overturn, basically, let's put it this way. Are we feeling like it's Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena time? And I'm like, I might as well do it for the gram and like say, fuck it. We're going to put a few bucks here because Pacheco is not bad. It's like Kayla Harrison is like really good. She's super hyped, of course, as she should be. But Larissa Pacheco, I'm hoping, let's see. I mean, I don't think she deserves to be a plus 490 on DraftKings right now. I think a plus 250, a plus 300, I'd be like, all right. But Kayla didn't finish her, not one time. And maybe you're like, all right, well, no, that means she's just going to win all 5 rounds of this fight. And maybe you're right. But I think to the point of like a Adesanya Pereira type of thing, maybe that just means it leaves more time for her to land a big punch if Kayla gets sloppy down the stretch. And even if not, maybe her takedown defense got a little better. Maybe she learned something from being in the octagon for 30 minutes with Kayla at this point. And that's a smart cage, TB. And
let me teach you
we'll
something.
see what happens, man. Go ahead. Teach me something. Is this a hater alert? Is this everything? Like,
listen, I get it, man. So if you're taking Pacheco, you have to take Pacheco by knockout. Pacheco by knockout is plus 900. I could never hate that type of play, ever. Makes total sense. It's her only path to victory.
Oh my God.
She is absolutely, she has 5 straight round 1 knockouts. They're over the trash. They're over trash. Gina Fabian's the best one that she beats. I mean, they're over nobody, absolutely nobody, but she did it and she's learning. Are you shushing me? What's happening?
Fight to start round 4 plus 130.
I know. I didn't get there yet. I'm talking. I'm looking at that's what you're stealing my thunder, pal. So what I'm trying to teach
ultimately you. Good.
Well, you didn't play there. So I like it even better than that is fight to start round 3 at minus 110 coin flip. No problem with that. 2 rounds, for sure. I like that for sure. And by the way, when you say Kayla Harrison wasn't finishing her, why? Because Pacheco's a BJJ black belt. She's a good submission grappler. She still doesn't fix the wrestling hole. It doesn't matter. It's Kayla Harrison. She has to smash. The only chance is Pacheco by crazy knockout. That's it. So I like fight to start round 3, -110. I like our whole stacking idea. Fight to start round 3, -110. Fight to start round 4, +130. Fight to start round 5, +165. Fight to go the distance, +200. I think they all cash, unless Harrison really puts it on her. Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I mean, I really, really, really wanted to bet Pacheco +900 by KO. I mean, you guys know me. That's my kind of thing. But come on. It's so hard to watch the first 2 fights and be like, yeah, Pacheco could do this. It's just, how is she supposed to do this? Kayla's just going to keep taking her down. I mean, if Kayla wants to maybe try to prove a point and then tries to strike with her, and Pacheco,
why would you prove a point with $1 million on
I don't think she will. Yeah, I think she's going to take the $1 million home and go chill. But I think you guys are on point. I want to hit the over 3.5. That's what I was looking at, +125. Guru, when you said fight starts round 2, -110.
Fight starts round 3.
Fight starts round 3, -110. I checked DraftKings right away here in New York. They don't like us. We don't have that, which I'm upset about. But I think that's really good. I'm probably going to hit the over 3.5, but I really like that one.
I actually remember that now because I was trying to bet those props while sitting live at MSG for UFC, and they didn't have them. I was pissed as fuck, actually.
They give us a lot. They don't give us a lot of the fun ones. We don't get the split decision props, that kind of thing. It's just weird. I don't know why.
Well, to be fair, I mean, when Jersey first opened up MMA betting for DraftKings, it took a while for them to give us some of those other props. I remember we were doing stuff for a while, and then Double Chance came up in a couple of these other crazy things.
Yeah, we get Double Chance, but not like splitting stuff.
Look how cute that is. Good. Look at you, TB.
Yeah, that's my actually from Amsterdam when I was there over the summer.
That's awesome, bud.
Yeah.
You should let that up. It was very peaceful.
That looked like let's do it. Google image, bro.
Let's do it. Yeah, no, that's actually my shot from Amsterdam.
That's sick.
Yeah, at the fountain at the Vondel Park. I was staying at a hostel at Vondel Park. Go check it out. It's crazy.
I'm gonna Vondel.
Anyways, yeah, so enjoy the nature, and honestly, this has been great. But you boys got to run. As much as I'd love to stay and chat with you people, had a long day, and gotta cook
you got a long
get
day.
down to stuff tomorrow.
So hang out with the chica.
Of course,
it's Thanksgiving Eve. We gotta go. I gotta go get a drink with my chica as well. It's crazy, right? These things happen.
Exactly. How did this happen? How did the Guru and TB end up in these situations? We'll never know. But Mike, thanks for ending up in this situation with us at the Couch Warrior Pod. Mike, the situation. We're all about Jersey boys. Let's go. You like how I stumbled onto that
nickname, bro?
That's it. The TB nickname. I couldn't give it to any of the fighters this time, but I'll give it to you, my brother. So,
excellent.
If anything, we'll see you Friday.
Mike, I haven't mentioned this to TB at all yet. So totally possible. Nothing out there yet locked in, but maybe we might need to recruit you again if we decide we need to do a Bellator one, because I believe we'll be attending in December. So we might need your expert. Connecticut.
Oh, you guys gonna drive down? That's lit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Airbnb status.
Yeah, I believe we should be getting media credentialed for that as well. So hopefully that comes through and we'll be going.
Good luck, boys.
We might need your help for that. But next week no UFC this week, as we all know. So that's why we did PFL. Next week, UFC Orlando. Steven Wonderboy Thompson taking on Kevin Big Mouth Holland in your main event. We got Narco Cop coming on. Can't wait for that. And then after that, there's only 2 more cards to finish out the year. So, the pay-per-view just lost its main event, which is crazy. Jiri goes down with a shoulder injury. Yeah, let's get out of here, guys.
Right.
Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble, motherfuckers.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.